I'm Gareth from Power Cameras, and today we're running through the differences between the Nikon D810 and the newer Nikon D850. What are the differences, and which one would be the camera for you? So I want to start by saying both of these are really great cameras. They're both proper pro cameras. The D810 is a little bit older, but there's definitely still lots of professionals out there using it to make a living, and it's definitely not just a write-off because it's older. So just want to get that out of the way. They're both lovely cameras, and I've really enjoyed using both of them. That said, there are some differences, and we're going to run through them. So the first difference I want to mention, just to get it out of the way, is the price. So the D850, which is the newer camera, is a bit more expensive. It's going to run you somewhere around £800 more than the D810. But there are some reasons for that. So in terms of design, they're both really similar. They both have the same kind of look to them, which isn't surprising at all. They're both from the same sort of DNA. They both have this nice deep grip on the side, which I really like, and has actually made it feel really nice to use. In fact, they both feel really nice in the hands when you're using them. They feel like pro cameras. They're both rugged, they're both solid built. They're both the similar sort of weight. The D850 I think is a touch heavier, but it's nothing you'd ever really notice. Both cameras are weather sealed, so they're great when you're outdoors and the weather starts to turn. They both have really nice strong bodies as well. The screen on the back is the same size, 3.2 inches, but the D850 has a slight increase in resolution, which makes it a little bit crisper to look at. But the bigger change is the tilting screen on the D850. So it tilts out, up or down, which is really useful in real world shooting conditions when you might be in an awkward spot and you need to be able to see properly. It does make it a lot easier, whereas the D810 just has the flat screen on the back. Both cameras are full frame, and they both have massive megapixel counts, but the D850 does come out on top here, so it's got 45.7 megapixels, which is huge. But to be fair, the D810 also has a really big megapixel count as well, so it's 36.3, which is still not bad at all. In fact, it's still a lot bigger than a lot of cameras, but if you do like cropping in, you're going to get a little bit more detail out of the D850. In terms of image quality, you're probably not going to notice a huge amount of difference between the two. They both have really nice images that come out of this, but if you do crop in, like I say, you're going to get a little bit more detail with the D850 with those huge file sizes. Something else to note is the D850 also has a back illuminated sensor, which means that it is surprisingly good in low light conditions, especially when you consider the megapixel count. You wouldn't normally expect it, but this actually works out really well. Now, in terms of speed, there is a bit of a difference. The D810 can shoot 5 frames per second in continuous mode, or if you drop that resolution down to 15.3 megapixels in the DX crop mode, you can do 7 frames per second, whereas the D850 can do 7 frames per second in continuous mode, or if you use the battery grip with it as well, you can get 9 frames per second, and that's all full resolution. So that's a bit of a plus for the 850. So when it comes to video, there is a bit of a difference between the two cameras. That said, the D810 does have some really nice video features built in the camera. So it can shoot full HD 1080p video at 60 frames per second, which means you can slow that down in post, get some nice slow motion, whereas the D850 can shoot 4K video at up to 30 frames per second, and it can shoot full HD 1080p video at up to 120 frames per second. So you get that really nice, buttery smooth slow motion, always looks really nice. So that's a bit of an advantage now on the D850. Now, obviously this is only gonna matter to you if you're interested in video. But if that's something you are interested in, the D850 does have a bit of an advantage and is probably gonna serve your purposes a bit better. There's other things as well that make the D850 just a really nice camera, so things like focus stacking built into the camera, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and overall it is probably the more accomplished camera, but then it should be. It's the newer camera, it's the more expensive camera. You would expect it to have more features and better features. So if you want that massive megapixel count, if you want the better video features, the tilting screen, things like that, then yeah, it's definitely the camera for you. It is an amazing camera. But all that said, the D810 is still a great camera. There's lots of professionals who use it still to make a living, and it still feels like a pro camera. It's still really nice to use. In terms of stills, you're gonna get some really, really great stuff out of this. It also does video really well as well, just not quite as well as the D850. So definitely not one to write off. You could do a lot worse than this. So that's our comparison between the D810 and the D850. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions about either camera, pop them down in the comments below. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe for more content. I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.